In 1994, a shepherd in southeastern Turkey noticed something strange protruding from the ground. It wasn't rock, it wasn't rubble. It was carved, deliberately, precisely. What archaeologists uncovered beneath that hill would quietly destroy everything we thought we knew about the origins of human civilization. This is Göbekli Tepe, and this is the structure that broke history. The official story of civilization goes something like this. Humans spent hundreds of thousands of years as nomadic hunter-gatherers, roaming, surviving, leaving almost nothing behind. Then, roughly 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, something shifted. People began to settle, to farm, to build. That is the accepted timeline. Göbekli Tepe does not fit that timeline, not even close. Located in the southeastern Anatolia region of modern-day Turkey, Göbekli Tepe sits atop a mountain ridge at an elevation of nearly 800 meters. The name, in Turkish, means something simple, Potbelly Hill, but there is nothing simple about what lies beneath it. The site contains at least 20 circular enclosures, each one made of massive T-shaped limestone pillars. Some of these pillars stand over 5 meters tall, some weigh between 10 and 20 tons, and every single one of them is covered in detailed carvings. Foxes, scorpions, vultures, snakes, lions, wild boars, abstract symbols that archaeologists still cannot fully interpret. These are not crude scratchings from a primitive mind. These are masterworks, deliberate compositions, art, on a scale that should not have been possible at this point in human history. And here is where the story gets uncomfortable for conventional archaeology. Radiocarbon dating places the construction of Göbekli Tepe at approximately 9,500 to 10,000 BCE. That is not a typo. That is 11,500 to 12,000 years ago. For context, the Egyptian pyramids were built roughly 4,500 years ago. Stonehenge, around 5,000 years ago. Göbekli Tepe predates both of them by more than 6,000 years. Now here is the question that keeps researchers awake at night. According to everything we know about that era, the people who built Göbekli Tepe should not have been capable of building it. At 10,000 BCE, humans in this region were hunter-gatherers. No agriculture, no permanent settlements, no organized society as we understand it. The standard model says that large-scale construction requires civilization first. You need surplus food to feed workers. You need social hierarchy to organize labor. You need sedentary populations to plan and execute multi-year construction projects. None of those things existed according to the timeline. And yet, the structure is there. Archaeologist Klaus Schmidt, who led excavations at the site from 1996 until his death in 2014, proposed a radical inversion of the accepted model. What if it wasn't civilization that produced temples? What if it was temples that produced civilization? What if Göbekli Tepe wasn't the product of an organized society, but the reason one formed? The idea being that the construction project itself, requiring thousands of people coordinated over decades, forced the development of agriculture, social structure, and permanent settlement. It is a theory that rewrites the entire sequence of human development, but it still leaves something unexplained. Look carefully at the pillars. Not just the carvings, the pillars themselves. Each T-shaped column was quarried from limestone bedrock in a single piece. No joins, no assembly. One solid structure, cut from the earth and transported, sometimes hundreds of meters, to the site. In a nearby quarry, archaeologists found an unfinished pillar still embedded in the rock. Its estimated weight? 50 tons. 50 tons moved by people with no metal tools, no wheels, no draft animals. And the precision doesn't stop at the physical construction. The enclosures at Göbekli Tepe appear to be astronomically aligned. Researchers have identified alignments with Orion, with Sirius, and with the path of the Sun during specific times of the year. Some scholars suggest that certain enclosures may have been designed to track specific stellar events. This is not accidental orientation. This requires knowledge, careful observation, mathematical thinking, from people who, according to the official record, were still primarily focused on finding their next meal. It gets stranger still. Sometime around 8000 BCE, Göbekli Tepe was buried. Not by time, not by erosion, not by conquest. It was deliberately backfilled. Someone, or many people, made a conscious decision to cover the entire complex under thousands of tons of earth and debris. Carefully. Completely. Why? No one knows. Some researchers suggest it was a form of ritual closure, that after serving its purpose, the site was intentionally sealed, preserved for reasons we cannot fully understand. Others suggest the burial was protective, an act meant to preserve what was inside. What is undeniable is the result. The deliberate burial is precisely why Göbekli Tepe survived for 12,000 years in near-perfect condition. Whoever buried it may have intended for it to be found. And here is the detail that most mainstream coverage quietly skips over. Archaeologists estimate that only about 5% of the total site has been excavated. 5%. The full extent of what lies beneath Potbelly Hill is still unknown. Let's be precise about what Göbekli Tepe actually challenges. It is not fringe theory. It is not speculation. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, studied by dozens of universities, referenced in every major archaeology journal. What it challenges is the sequence. The accepted model of human development moves in a straight line. Survival, then settlement, then agriculture, then construction, then religion, then art. Göbekli Tepe suggests the line is not straight. It suggests that the capacity for complex thought, symbolic reasoning, and monumental ambition existed in humans far earlier than the timeline allows for. And if that is true here, what else might be buried elsewhere? Because Göbekli Tepe is not unique in raising these questions, it is simply the most undeniable example. There are sites across the world, from the underwater structures off the coast of Japan, to the megalithic alignments of South America, to the precision stonework of ancient India, that present the same uncomfortable problem. A level of sophistication that the official timeline cannot adequately explain. A shepherd found it by accident. For 12 millennia, it sat beneath a hill in Turkey, waiting. Whatever civilization built Göbekli Tepe left no written record, no name, no continuation in the historical record. They vanished as completely as they appeared. But they left the stones. And the stones ask a question that mainstream archaeology has not yet answered. If hunter-gatherers built this, what else were they capable of? This is LostMasons. We go where the official record stops. New discoveries every week. Subscribe, and make sure you don't miss what comes next. Because Göbekli Tepe is just the beginning.